pulling the onion back a little bit, what do I do for a living other than owning a podcast network and doing a podcast and trying to grow my brand and my show's brands that are on my network? I am a social worker by day. Okay. I have a master's degree. I'm 3 credits away from having a doctorate. All right. So I'm a very highly educated person in the field of human services and mental health and studies in clinical ways. I'm very highly educated and very, very highly recommended by people.
Yeah. And hey, you know what? If you think you get my go to that, man, he gets my go, this kid, man. He gets my go.
Okay, this is episode 11, like 2 skinny legs, like the bones on the back of the neck of Freddie Mercury. This is episode 11 of Gam My Goat. I think that's what it's called, isn't it? Who gives a shit balls?
Enough.
I'd like to start off this episode by saying cunt and rape, just so that it gets flagged.
It's appalling what it is.
But speaking of certain words, what we're going to do next is an episode of WWR, the sensation that's driving the nation to constipation. This is Wingling, the king of the podcasting world, reacting to something that happened with Konnan, where he was shockingly attacked in the street by a wrestler called Psicosis II.
Assaulted, accosted.
Yes, but here's the thing. John Wangland is such a huge wrestling fan, such an expert, that he can't tell the difference between real and fake. Little behind-the-scenes trivia on this one. This was part of what was supposed to be a long-running storyline, leading to some big fucking event, whatever they're called in AAA.
Mm-hmm.
But sadly, COVID fucked up all the plans.
Yeah, so the only thing that they got to, no, I don't even know if this story will continue or if Konnan would even, I don't know if this is supposed to be talked about, but there was actually a follow-up segment where Konnan kicked this guy in the balls and smacked him down. So that's the direction that they were going with it. And, people in, there's only certain people that still really believe in it, and that's a lot of the Mexican wrestling fans and John Wangland. So he fooled all the lucha fans in Mexico and John. So goes to show you. John was happy about this because he thought Konnan got smacked down in the middle of the street, assaulted by 3 guys that could have had weapons or whatever. And because Konnan had the audacity to make fun of his Vampiro show a couple of times and say that he sounded like a redneck or whatever Konnan likes to call white people, white rednecks like myself. And if you're white and you have a beard, you're a redneck. That's it. But so John took great pleasure in this, and that's what we're going to listen to now.
Yes. Oh, by the way, a little behind-the-scenes trivia. Vampiro is one of the people that texted Konnan, or should I say Konnan is one of the people that Vampiro texted, warning him about doing any form of business or connection with John Wangland.
Yes, sir.
It is Sunday. Hope everybody's having a great weekend. Hopefully you had a great week. Hopefully you're doing awesome. Well, we are here today to make it even more awesome and good for you. It is Wrestling with Reality, and I am your host, John Wangland, Jonny Podcasting, and I am here with my partner in crime, my best buddy, the man, the myth, really close to being the legend, the one, the only, the real deal, freaking heel, Mr. Richie Reardon.
How many fucking best friends does he have?
None.
Everyone's his best friend.
On the episode of Inspired with Christopher that we just listened to, Chris says that John is his best friend.
And Jeff Maxson's his best friend. And
yeah.
But it's because
they
don't have any friends.
Yeah, so
this is their life.
Yeah.
Richie, what's going on, my friend?
Not much, man. Just glad to be here tonight with you. We are very blessed to get to sit back and talk some wrestling and just, live life and be an American, man, the greatest country on earth. And I am just doing great tonight, man, in a very positive mindset. How about you?
Awesome, man. Same way. Had a good weekend so far. It's snowing and it's cold in New York, but life is good, man. Anytime you're on this side of the dirt, man, life is a good thing, my friend.
You ain't lying about that. That's for damn sure.
But it came out today. There's an Impact taping down in Mexico City for the next round of tapings. Now, this gentleman works, I believe, in a backstage role still over there.
It's Psicosis.
It's the second Psicosis.
Psicosis.
It's not the WCW one.
No.
Yeah. Well, I'm leaning towards Konnan. Konnan was the one involved in this stuff. Konnan, I believe, is a backstage agent or producer or something like that, still in a lightened role over at Impact. I know he does it with MLW and does some on-air stuff. But
what does he mean? He's leaning towards Konnan. There was video footage.
Because I don't know. I think Richie thought he was trying to describe that Psicosis was the guy involved, and John, instead of saying no, I'm talking about Konnan, said I'm leaning towards Konnan.
Oh my God, he's a fucking.
Yeah.
I hate that he learned how to speak.
they were in Mexico City today, and this wrestler, they call him Psicosis, like you mentioned. He's not the Psicosis
They call him Psicosis.
from WCW. He's Psicosis II, I think is what they call him over there, Psicosis II. He's a masked competitor as well. And him and Konnan.
I'm so glad that he pointed out that there's a masked competitor in Mexico.
This is the tabloid days of WWR when everything was like, he always did like tabloid shocking stories and headlines, and it just.
See, this is why I was worried that even if he did have listeners, why would they come here to hear the show? What take does he have that's different from what Meltzer or Konnan himself would say?
Had a little brief spat. Now, this person said Psicosis II, that they would never go back to AAA as long as Konnan was still working there and on shows or booking, and just had a big beef with them. And I don't really know the details on their beef, but there was a lot of back and forth online, and I guess
He's got a wrestling podcast where he reports on wrestling news, and he doesn't know what the backstory is. Do you want to know why he doesn't know what the backstory is? Because it was a storyline.
Yeah.
It wasn't real. It was all going to be revealed down the line.
Well, if he would have done his work on it, though, this storyline started on Twitter where these guys tweeted shit back at each other. You know, that's where it started. That's the beef. The beef is that they were saying Konnan would block him out of bookings and shit, and then they talk shit to each other on Twitter to get the ball rolling.
But see, the problem is Wangda doesn't do the research for this sort of stuff. He just waits for someone else to report it, and he goes, "Hey there, man, you want to stay up to 4 a.m. to talk to me once again? Wear a bathrobe."
Konnan has basically been clowning on this dude here and talking shit online back to him and all those things. And the guy told him,
trying to prevent him from working too, from what I read.
Yep. I saw that too. He's trying to prevent him from working in places, trying to blackball him out there. Then they
Blackball him out there. Out there.
had this big, to do online a while back or however long ago. I don't know. I never saw it. And I don't speak Spanish well enough to read it as well. But
There's a translate option on Twitter. It literally says translate tweet, you stupid fat bastard.
A big to-do? That's fucking awesome. What year is that saying from? Wanker.
it had a pretty contentious beef going on. And Konnan blocking him, this guy saying he will never work there. Konnan, who, if you've never listened to his stuff in his show for his podcast, he's the biggest trash talking, shit talking.
He's a tumor in the wrestling industry for sure.
So many ways he is. This guy's a fucking douche to people, man, all the time. He's just
boy, oh boy, oh boy. He's a tumor in the wrestling industry. Okay. And I don't mean to come after Rich or whatever, but, and John said it too. That is absolutely not true. And any of the guys that you're presently enjoying on AEW, like Sammy Guevara, who I know John loves, right? And I know, and Rob does too, I believe, is a Konnan project. Pentagon and Phoenix were Konnan projects. The two LAX guys were Konnan projects. Konnan worked heavily with Taya Valkyrie. There's so many in WWE now too. Some of the NXT guys, the Mexican stable in NXT, those are Konnan guys. Dude, he has been cultivating talent for decades that has gone all over. all over the place. His fingerprints are everywhere in a good way. And I'm not saying that because I do the podcast with him or whatever. I'm saying that as a fan and someone who knows a little bit about pro wrestling history. Like, his influence has been nothing but good. If he didn't bring lucha to the States, there wouldn't be all this, high flying stuff that there is today. And some people might say that's a bad thing, but his influence is everywhere, and there's talents everywhere that he cultivated and sent out and got bookings. Like, that's ridiculous that he's been nothing but positive for wrestling.
Yeah, it seems to me like they're listening to, or they see the character,
yeah,
and think it's like I hate to break the news, but in real life, Glenn Gilberti is a really nice guy.
Yeah.
Disco Inferno's a dick.
Yeah.
But Glenn is nice. Where Konnan is a dick to me, but to most humans, he's really nice, and that's why he's so beloved. And he did help Tyra Valkyrie a lot, and weirdly, he mostly on the costume department.
And Cross too. Don't forget about all the stuff he did with Cross in AAA. So
yeah,
Cross now.
I've been at the brunt of it from him before. He's called me a fucking pussy. He's called me
Hillbilly Hick.
Yeah, Hillbilly Hicks on the shows that he does and all that stuff. And he would troll me and send me messages on Twitter.
What?
That's not true. He sent him one tweet one time, and it said, "Where's the latest Vampiro's ritual?"
I remember that one. That was a good one.
Yeah.
Did you put him up to that, or did he do that on his own?
I don't remember. He did it on his own, but I can't remember what brought it up.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
He's like, how's Vampiro's rituals going? And then he'd send me a couple laughing emojis out there. And he's done that shit like that a couple of times. Just
one time.
Yeah, I can explain why if you'd like to know, John. Because he would be getting sent all this info from Vampiro directly about you. And that's why, because everybody tells Konnan everything.
Pretty much, yes.
So he knows all the scoop. He even knows about Mark podcast. So that's why he messaged you, because it was hilarious. And so many other people got the joke.
It was a tweet. It wasn't a DM. Like, it was just a public tweet. Like, just fucking with him.
Instigating shit starter, man. So he was shit starting with this guy, Psicosis II, as well, I guess. And Psicosis II didn't take too kindly to it. And he said that the next time he saw him, he was going to slap the shit out of him. And the gentleman shows up at the Impact show today. And they have a video of it. Go online, you go on at WWR Podcast. You can see I retweeted it out. And you'll see them having this argument. And
he retweeted that out and about 75 other things that day.
You can hear the delight on in his voice talking about Konnan this way, because he thinks that it somehow makes him an insider. It's like, no, Konnan, you're not an insider. Konnan's a ball buster.
And the guy is fucking hot at Konnan, and Konnan's looking like a scared little schoolgirl going to see a really bad horror movie. He's definitely not wanting any part of this stuff here, man, that you can see in the video. He's kind of hesitant. And this guy did exactly what he said he was going to do. He slapped the shit right out of him. It was the bitch slap heard throughout the world. He hit Konnan so hard in the bitch slap that his fucking hat went flying off of his head.
Does this weird you out that he's a parent and he's a minister and he's a psychologist or whatever, and he's talking about this wrestling angle as if it's real?
Yeah.
Like, does that not weird you out?
Not only that, but say it was a shoot, and so what you're cheering on is a younger guy in shape and whatever, smacking a guy who's had some health issues, kidney transplant, whatever. So you're actually cheering on like an old guy with health issues getting smacked in the street and threatened by a group of people. It wasn't just Psicosis. He had people with him, so.
But I'm more worried about the fact that he can't tell. He's one of these guys who, like, we joked about it before. He's one of these guys who'd be like, yeah, like, I know wrestling's fake and it's work, but that one was real.
Yeah, the title matches, they're all
real. This is the vibe I'm getting off Dumb Wingling here. I've said before that he thinks wrestling is real, and he's confirmed it here with the dumb, probably in his blue hoodie.
It was gold.
Well, and here's the deal, man, and I think this is a direct result of you get what comes to you when you what you put out in the world. Konnan always plays on his character on TV as a tough guy, as a person that comes from the street, the gang lifestyle and stuff like that. It's just what it is on TV. It's an act, and you can see that clearly. People's fight or flight instincts. I know me and you know a lot about that, being from where we come from.
Where the streets?
If Conan's gangster stuff is an act, go ask MSL.
Yeah, go. Or I don't know where Richie's from, and this isn't about Richie, but I don't know where John's, maybe his fight or flight instinct supposedly kicked in the military, but as far as growing up on the streets, dude is like almost a little rich boy from the Binghamton area with a psychiatrist or whatever college professor dad. I don't think he was living the street life. He was living the privileged little money life.
Yeah, the sweet life.
The sweet life.
You can see instantly when Konnan is being confronted by this gentleman, he doesn't want any part of him right off the bat. You can tell by his body language. And then when Psicosis II strikes him and slaps him with an open hand, you see him back up and almost start to not run away, but definitely try to get away from the situation. It scared the piss out of him. You could tell. I got to say, man, good on Psicosis II for doing it, because somebody needs to put this asshole in his place and make him realize just because you have a platform to go talk on and stuff like that doesn't mean you ain't going to have repercussions for what you put out there.
Yeah. And he sure got some repercussions.
That's a good lesson to learn for some people, that they can't just run their mouths on a show and not have repercussions. Like, I don't know, for instance, losing allies, being called out for your lies, having people, gang up against you because you're so poisonous, things like that. Like, you should watch what you say. I agree.
Yeah, but I'm pretty shocked at Richie here, though, because when we spoke to him, he seemed like a pretty smart guy.
Yeah,
but they've both completely just taken the fucking bait.
Yeah, and he's just preaching what John told him, and John's side of the Konnan thing or whatever, like it was some big thing, and it was really just Konnan tweeting him one time. And like Hughezy said, I'm sure John was actually tickled by it too. Like, ooh, Konnan noticed me.
Yeah, but this is why everybody really, really needs to go check out Keeping 100 YouTube and, I suppose, the podcast as well, whatever.
Yeah.
This is why Konnan is an expert, because he can work people in 2020. He's got these two fucking guys thinking his storyline is real.
On this one, man.
Absolutely.
It's the slap heard around the world, man. It was great. It really was here. And just like you said, this is the guy that acts like he's a tough guy all the time. And that was his gimmick. And that's what he portrays, talks so much shit, man, about anybody and everybody.
Hang on, is Wangland shocked that a wrestling personality would have the same character? I don't understand what he's so shocked about here. Does he think that Konnan should come on the podcast and suddenly drop it? Like, does he forget that Conan's on TV?
I wonder if he sees Conan's tweets to like Selena De La Renta or whatever her name is from MLW, where he calls her out and calls her names and stuff, and doesn't realize that that's also because they're working together in a storyline, or if Conan's really just fucking with this girl.
Yeah, and wasn't the Vampiro was supposed to be part of this podcast, this storyline? Because do you remember Vampiro did this weird post saying stuff like he's going to re-sign with AAA, he's coming straight to kick Conan's ass?
Yeah,
like,
they've been playing in a big AAA thing for a long time. It just depends on both of the guys being healthy and getting back into shape.
I really don't have the foggiest idea, why people can be loyal to that. And I'm not saying this because of not liking one of the co-hosts on the show. I'm not saying that out of anything with him. This is just my opinion there. Like, I don't get how people can enjoy Konnan, because he's the most blatantly obvious person that he gives zero fucks about the fans. And he's about the paper, man, and the money. They always say, about his Patreon.
It's almost like he's an adult or something.
Yeah, he's running a business.
Because wasn't Wangland the other day boasting about the fact that he has 2 homes and 2 jobs and stuff like that?
3 homes and a condo.
Yeah, so he does all this for free?
I can just say from my experience, he can say whatever he wants about Konnan and he does this. And how could people be loyal to him? He's only doing things for money. I've been on these Patreons recently where he spends time talking music with fans or answering their questions for hours. Yeah. Right now, are they part of Patreon tiers? Yeah, but are most of these guys getting? It's a big deal for them because they've been listening to Konnan forever, seen him on TV. Like I've seen people like literally, you can see how fucking happy they are that they get to have this, chance to talk to Konnan and Disco and have fun with it or whatever. People are loyal to Konnan because he's been around forever. And the fucking show is a big part of it too. The show is great. People love the show. It's continuously getting more popular. So, and I know popularity is something that John has struggled with. So,
yeah, Konnan doesn't just talk to anyone, no matter how much they build up his YouTube presence.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
When I would listen to the show, make sure you subscribe to our Patreon, man. That's where we make some real paper. Everybody wants to make money. I get it. He doesn't give one shit about his fans, man. He's a carny. He's done it his whole life. He's built a reputation off of fucking people over 1 million times over. And it's good to see that this guy who he fucked over ended up sitting over there and confronted him. Some say, oh, he's a wise man for doing it. He's sick. He's unhealthy.
This may be genuinely the most embarrassing wangling clip so far.
Yeah.
He's a grown adult. What age is he?
He's in his late 30s. I don't think he's 40 yet.
Well, he's in his late 30s. Well, he's approaching 40. Yeah. And you can hear him giggling at his storyline. How did he not get that it was fake?
And aside from the story that everyone's aware of where Konnan and the kayfabe commentaries guy had an issue and Konnan kept a deposit, everyone knows about that. It's been talked about 1 million times. I can say that I've worked with Konnan for over 3 years. I've never had an issue, anything. And in fact, when we recently were talking about the Patreon, he upped my percentage without me asking. So, and he also, he upped my percentage of ad revenue, like without me asking. Like I've never seen, and the only people that have a problem with Konnan is what? Sean Oliver and Hughezy. Who else? You know what I mean? Like, he's acting like Conan's like Teddy Hart, where Teddy Hart has enemies, or whatever. Konnan doesn't have any fucking enemies, just like 2 people.
Yeah, I just want to redo my favorite Konnan quote, which is, Sean Oliver, he accused me of stealing his money, so I said, okay, I'm keeping this. It's like he stole it.
Yeah, that's tremendous.
Things in his life. Bullshit, man. He was scared.
Yeah.
He was scared. He was fucking shaking in his little boots, man. So
he was. You could tell his body language right away when he got smacked that it was just, oh, I need to get away from this situation now. Man, I got to tell you, I'm surprised it hasn't happened sooner with the stuff that he said about people in the past.
Oh, God. It's almost like when you think about it, just thinking out loud, that it was going to be Konnan leading the team to take on Psicosis II's team.
Yeah.
At a huge AAA match. Maybe that's just me thinking about that, but what can you say?
Or maybe the next co-promoted TNA AAA show, because he was at a TNA show in Mexico. That's what it was.
And it's fine. Like, we have the freedom of speech that we enjoy here and all that stuff, and that's all great and fine. But at the end of the day, we also have the freedom, free will to do what we will as well. And when people want to get at you for stuff you've said about them and spread bad stuff about them, it's going to happen sooner or later, man. And I'm surprised it hasn't happened sooner rather than later, And hey, good on him, man. He can the people that he attracts over there, just to talk about the point that you made about these people that are on his Patreon and stuff. They may be, some of them, decent people, but for the most part, the experiences I've had with them on YouTube and stuff like that, they're just trolls, man. They hop on board with something to feel important, and they want to be a part of something, so they get over there, and it's just a big cancerous cesspool, to be honest with you.
Much like Chris in the earlier segment, saying something about how keyboard warriors wouldn't say anything to his face, and that was kind of just a John line. Everything Richie said there sounded like it came directly from John's mouth. So that to me sounds like something John told him. Oh, it's a cancerous thing over there. Their Patreon, it's full of trolls, and it's couldn't be further from the truth. Actually, that Patreon is a lot of fun, a lot of good people.
there's no positivity over there whatsoever. It's just a bitch session and a complaining hour is the way I see it as far as their show goes.
Yeah, I think that's a very
Is that not what they're doing?
Yeah, what is this?
good assertion there. And you see, yeah, of course, there's a lot of great fans that listen to his show too, and we're not lumping everybody in there, but there is a small minority over there that is just exactly what you said, man. A bunch of fucking hateful trolls and stuff. And where do they learn it from? They learn it from him, from Disco on that show. That's what they do over there, man. So if you're a fan of him, great, good for you. I'm not telling you not to be. I'm just saying, if you really think he gives a shit about any of you as fans, he doesn't.
And hey, as a performer, Konnan, I gotta say, I gotta give him his due. He was a legendary performer in Mexico.
Yep.
He did some great things in WCW that were very creative. Hey, I'll give him his due. But what he's done with his popularity and fame hasn't exactly been a positive thing, So that's just my opinion on it and my take on Konnan as a person and Disco for that matter.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. Well, my last piece, and I'll turn it over to you for anything you might have here, but Cain Velasquez.
Was that it?
Yeah. And he just said Cain Velasquez wrong, by the way.
Yeah. That's, we'll wrap this one up quick. There's no point in drawing on about it, but that's just very worrying that a so-called wrestling expert could talk about all these wrestling news stories and then take an angle as if it's a news story. Like, he's not a smart guy. No. And he thinks he's Jonny Podcasting, and he's Jonny humiliates himself.
Yeah. Yeah. And it wasn't a good position. He said, for all his talk about, bullying and this and that, that's what he sounded like there. If that was a legit situation and the guy almost got jumped by 3 dudes, he doesn't know if they're having weapons or not, and he's, his health hasn't been the greatest, then John sounded like a bully there. Like, he was approving of a shitty situation like that where you jump somebody. I thought it was supposed to be man-to-man and face-to-face.
Yeah, he sounded like a female bully.
Yeah.
He's a dick. He's just a fucking... we should fucking snowflake it and send this to his ministry stuff and say, this is your counselor here.
Your boy. Who knows if that's even a thing? Who knows what he really does,
Yeah.
Probably the sinister minister.
Well, you can apply by mail to become a minister. Like anybody can do that.
So
really?
what's his title then? Is he like Father Wangland?
Douchebag.
Yeah, Sister Wangland. That's his name. Sister Christian.
Sister Christian. Fucking A. Well, COVID ruined all the plans for what those guys were going to work towards. So that's too bad for them. But I just always thought that was a great clip, and Wangland trying to goat and falling short and just kind of sounding like a schmuck.
Mm. Yeah,
I
did you mean trying to go? You said trying to goat. That's just, did you mean trying to go?
Yeah, trying to get his going. And he has no idea what he's talking about with the listeners of Keeping 100, the patrons. And as usual, he tries to give you your medicine with a little spoonful of sugar by going, oh, we're not talking about everybody over there, but just some of you are fucking awful, like he used to say about the brand.
Yeah, no, but this is definitely the low point. I'm not convinced he doesn't think wrestling's a real thing, and to hear that in 2020, this was a couple of months ago.
He probably thought that Pat McAfee and
Adam Cole.
Yeah, he probably thought that was real too.
Oh, he bought that immediately.
Yeah,
it's not real.
Wah, wah, wah.
And scene.